Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. So yesterday we had the big Terry Bogard update. We have Terry himself. We have the big patch with all sorts of new features. We've covered both on the channel already. Now let's talk about the World Tour mode update. Every new DLC character comes with updates to World Tour. They can be your master, you can learn moves, and usually some fun other things as well. And, well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about here. So, there's definitely a lot of references in the Terry version of World Tour mode. Some things that are Terry and SNK specific, and also some things that just sort of became memes on their own. And also, potentially, some other hints about things that are coming in the future. For the M. Bison update for World Tour, it was kind of heavy-handed in the fact that Vega or Balrog, or both, might be playable characters in the eventual future, say Season 3 of the game. And here in the World Tour update, and also Terry's arcade mode, maybe more than a little heavy-handed hinted at some more collaborations of Capcom and SNK to come in the future. You know, SVC Chaos, SNK versus Capcom Chaos, and Capcom vs. SNK 2 both got re-releases, one already out, one upcoming in the near future. And hey, Terry and Mai eventually are in Street Fighter 6, so the golden age of collaboration very much back, it would seem. So that all said, let's talk references, let's talk Terry Bogard lore, and let's talk at what some hints might have for the future of Capcom and SNK. So, references, even out of the gate, this new version of World Tour mode, which is kind of gated off from the rest of the World Tour, it's its own separate scenario. It's just rotten with references. We even have the Mad Gear crew back, and Alyssa is not here to entertain these guests. She wants real Mad Gear characters in the knockout tournament. Terry and Mai are stealing representation from real Mad Gear members. And don't get her started on Conan and Mortal Kombat either. And just like out of the gate, we got our boy Thrasher up against Flanco, who is very much a direct reference to Franco Bash. Says as much himself, really. Franco, if you don't know him, is most famous for having an ungodly buildup of hormones. Dude's basically a shaved gorilla. He's one of the biggest characters in like all of SNK games, period. But yeah, all the people are here, and many cosplayers are all here for the Knockout Tournament, KOF. Funny how that works out. And they're just awaiting arrival of many people from Southtown. There's a bit of a Southtown versus Metro City undercurrent, Southtown being where the majority of the Fatal Fury games take place. And either people are participating, or they're just here to meet their favorites. In fact, you'll meet people who identify as genuine Southtown otaku. These characters are pretty serious about their SNK lore. Like, we got this one lady here, Sankaku Mochizuki, who is very much a reference to Sokaku Mochizuki, who is a playable character in Fatal Fury and some of the real bout games. Very much in the Fatal Fury vein of things. Also, as someone who's grinded a lot of World Tour, actually one of the more annoying fights because she'll always air throw you when you jump, and that's actually a little frustrating. Also, we talked about Mad Gear and Thrasher Dam being there. Rudra from the World Tour main story mode is also there, so it's a kind of a who's who of Metro City. Also, we have the Duck Queen, very much a reference to the Duck King, and it's to the point here between Capcom and SNK, there has been so many Duck King references in the last month and change, to the point where they gotta do something. This is the most referenced character that is not currently playable in one of the upcoming games, right? The masses yearn for Duck King. Anyways, when it's all said and done, the Metro City crew are there to represent. You're the winners. So you're getting shipped off to the Pow Pow Cafe where the rest of the KOF tournament will proceed. In Pow Pow Cafe, once you get there, we can see that Terry is absolutely clowning on Lao. Lao, kind of a infamous dummy in various SNK games, usually gets beat up on. Also will be reappearing in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. It's apparent that he's both part of the Lilin Knights, B. Jenny's crew, and a part of the episodes of Southtown single player mode. So hey, good for him. But until then, he's gonna get his face caved in by Terry, so gotta pay your dues. So in the Pow Pow Cafe, you can see here we got a lot of imitators, a lot of cosplayers as well, right? For Joe, Mary, and Andy. And they put you through a legitimate King of Fighters battle. Like, I actually found this really cool. Like, straight up 3 versus 3. And you actually get to play as Damned and Rudra, and they have their own unique moves, so that's actually kind of cool. And in the backgrounds, we have a bunch of the characters, like classic SNK King of Fighters, the older games, right? Like there, you can see my World Tour character and Rudra in the background, and you have the KOF cosplayers in the background. There's Terry. You know, characters cheering on in the background is a gold standard of old KOF games. Even the standard of people acting all mopey once they're knocked out. Like I lost Thrasher Damned, and he's in the background kind of being all up in his feelings here. Basically, it's all a big setup to show Terry Bogard, this Southtown bum, what Metro City Pride is all about. And with that, you got to deal with a lot of the other cosplayers, right? So Joe Higashi cosplayer is George Azuma, which I love, because Joe Higashi's, it's a really weird name when you think about it. The thing is, and this is built into the lore of where the story is going for World Tour, these guys all legitimately love the characters they're cosplaying. Like Marilyn is very much a big fan of Blue Mary, and all of her dialogue, she's really concerned about the relationship between Terry and Blue Mary. And Andre, very much a fan of Andy, and a big fan of their brotherly relationship. So here's the thing about these cosplayers, especially the Fatal Fury cosplayers there. You'll go around, you're going to meet even more people, like you have Sai Kyo, who very much has the Dan Hibiki moveset. You'll meet Kenny, who was very much in the original World Tour, big fan of Ken Masters. But then turns out all this cosplay fun games, it has to come to an end, because then the actual Joe Higashi shows up in World Tour, and he doesn't care for these imitators. He's also pretty riled up at the fact that there's also an imitator, Mary, right? And to combat this, he's going to get Mary involved. Sure enough, Mary's here now too, and she's kind of cheaved off here, you know. No one can pull off my look, my style, which, you know, Mary, I know who you're based off of, okay? Your style's not as unique as you think. So you get there, it's time to take care of business, right? And, well, what happens is both Joe and Mary both completely fold to their cosplay counterparts, because it turns out, you know, they're big fans, and it's like, oh, it's nice to be appreciated for once, you know? Like, thank you. Like, Joe folds in seconds. Like, one compliment is enough for him to be like, oh, this is my best bud. Which, to be fair, if you know Joe Higashi, this is completely on brand for Joe Higashi. So that's all settled up, but here's a really cool thing. So Joe and Mary both teach you their moves. Like, these are moves that are exclusive to World Tour mode. You will not find these moves on any character, right? Like Joe, you can do his classic hurricanes, and it's only for World Tour, which is, I think, pretty neat. Like, it's not a big deal, I guess. It's just a little reference, but it's a fun one. It's a welcome one. So Joe gives you his classic hurricanes, and Mary gives you vertical arrow, which is sort of her like uppercut analog. And before you ask, well, what about Andy and the Andy cosplayer? Well, nobody cares. Andy gets no representation here at all. You may think maybe when Mai comes out, that's when that'll happen, but, well, we'll see about that. Andy not living his best life. So that's all the side stuff, right? Let's talk the main event, that is Terry. Terry, there's a lot of lore bombs and a lot of just fun background info building the character and the background of Terry. One of the most important things is finally, Uki, the monkey, is mentioned again. Just like how for Heihachi, Kuma is his real son, Uki is Terry Bogard's real son. In fact, featured fairly prominently in Fatal Fury 3. But then Uki kind of fell off the map. As the monkey man of the FGC though, just seeing Uki mentioned at all again with beautiful Shinkiro art on top of that though, warms my heart. But yeah, big part of what World Tour mode is here is just Terry exposition. And once again, all sorts of Shinkiro art. They busted out the pocketbook for this one, right? So talking about Terry Bogard, rarely ever drawn. Talking about learning, you know, from Tung Fu Ryu, Hakyoku Saiken, the martial art, which is a very, well, it's different for everyone in Fatal Fury. Terry even hints at the nebulous future here, like, oh man, my hair is a bit long, maybe I should cut it, you know, sort of hinting at his later Goro Mark of the Wolves appearance. Also, lots of references to his hobbies, video games, sports, fishing, big on the basketball, and more Duck King references. speaking on how maybe physically in fighting he might have Duck King's number, but on the court they are true equals. Also, this look for Terry shown in the art, if this is his outfit 3, I would love it. This is actually a super sharp look for Terry. I'm a very big fan of this appearance. But a lot of this, yeah, is just coming off real thick with the Terry-isms. Reminiscing on a lot of the places he's fought over the years, like say fighting on top of a raft, fighting in a bullfighting ring, even fighting on top of a moving train. In fact, that one might have happened more than once. Basically letting you, Johnny World Tour, know that he's been around. Basically you're fast friends with Terry, which is why he can both lore and trauma dump on you, right? So it gives you the whole spiel about Geese Howard, not a fan of Geese, as Geese murdered Jeff Bogard, his adopted father. And once again, I'm going to harp on the art here. The art they did for Terry, fantastic. Sharing the good times too. There's actually some fun lore that is never really explained before. You know, talking about Southtown, there's not really any snow. So him, Mary, and the crew hit the mountains and they have a blast. You know, part of what makes the SNK characters fun versus, say, the Capcom characters is you'll find lots of arts and moments with them just like living life, not necessarily fighting. And Terry very much goes on that he cherishes these moments. Even Terry's relationship with Rock Howard is explained and just brought up here, right? And I don't know, they go through the whole Terry Bogard experience basically, right? I'm not showing you every single moment, but in World Tour, if you don't know Terry Bogard by the end of it, you definitely will. And once again, more lovely art. But then there's this whole little crossover stuff we got to talk about. So make no bones about it, Capcom with the Terry launch here is laying it on thick and on multiple angles here. So say like the arcade mode, everyone has their own arcade mode, you know, here's this character, here's my journey, here's a fight in particular, let's talk about it. And Terry happens to meet up with Ken, also meeting up with him in a fairly auspicious alleyway, as it's very similar to the art that's in Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. And Terry knows something's up here. Terry's like, hey, you're a bum. You're a piece of garbage. You're just a straight up loser. Cryptocurrency loving bum. Well, that's what he wants to say anyways, right? But still, regardless, he's still not too nice by him, right? He's like, hey, something's up. So basically, Terry's here to give him a pep talk, all that kind of stuff. You know, raise his spirits. And with that, Ken is sufficiently pepped up, right? And the line drop here is specifically, next time we meet, we're going to meet the extra hot stuff, right? Like, so hey, I guess we'll have a next time we meet. Okay, and admittedly that on its own, it's pretty harmless, right? But we will repeat this, and in fact, it's like the culmination of World Tour mode. The end of the Terry story arc in World Tour mode is about chasing down Ryu, the guy he remembers from back in the day. In fact, you're kind of trolling with him a little bit here. He's like, go fight Ryu, go fight him using my style of moves, right? See how he reacts to that. And Ryu immediately picks up what they're putting down. It's like, oh, okay, this is Terry, I get you. And this all leads to basically a big chain of events where we're going to have the big showdown. We have Ryu versus Terry. And there's voice acting here, and part of me believes that Terry absolutely would just call Ryu, because that's the era he's from. And I would fully support that, by the way. But yeah, hey, let's have a bit of a fight, you know, just like back in the day. You can even choose who you want to back in the fight, which is actually pretty cool. Which didn't matter for me, because you can see my character's lifeless corpse in the background there, because I died immediately. And then Terry and Ryu just kind of fought it out by themselves, which admittedly, like cinematically, was pretty fun to watch. So after the fight, both characters get all bromance on each other, and I guess as well they should. And here's where we start having more hints dropped. Like we had a little hint, maybe, you know, it could just be like an homage with the arcade ending in Ken. But here, this one feels a bit more heavy-handed, a bit more real. Our paths will certainly cross again. And Terry's like, yep, exactly. So obviously this whole Terry collaboration is a big love-in of Capcom and SNK, right? And there's been a lot of this going on. We had the re-release of SVC Chaos, SNK vs. Capcom Chaos. We have the Capcom vs. SNK collection, well, and other games coming early next year. we're in full-on love-in mode, to the point where, like, say, the upcoming Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, I would be legitimately shocked if one of those DLC characters they announced is not a Capcom-related character. So, Ryu saying that he's definitely going to cross paths with Terry again. It's a certainty, right? What does it mean? Does it mean that Ryu is a guest character in City of the Wolves? Maybe. I think that could be a very distinct possibility. But also, does it mean that there'll be more greater SNK and Capcom collaborations in the future? Also, I think pretty much a certainty. For the last good long while, every time there's a DLC character, I go into World Tour mode, see what's new, and every time, there is distinct hints as to what is to come in the future. Like for the Bison update, oh hey, by the way, Balrog and Vega probably coming Season 3. Say for the Akuma update, oh by the way, Bison's absolutely coming to the game. And they made that as heavy-handed as possible. Them foreshadowing stuff is literally part of what World Tour mode is at this point, every time there's a new DLC. So of course more collaborations. We still have Mai. Mai will come out in like January or February, and she's going to have her own World Tour update mode as well, right? So who knows what's going to happen there. But Mai is yet to come. She'll be I'll give you 2 big reasons why she'll be pretty popular, right? Also with that Capcom vs. SNK collection coming out, like people are going to be hungry for more collaborations. So will there be more DLC crossovers past this? Just maybe. But will there be another proper SNK versus Capcom, Capcom versus SNK? Also, just maybe. If it is, it's probably further along the line, not anytime soon to be sure, right? But we're in the new golden age of fighting games. Literally anything is possible. So I would say get excited for it because your excitement might pay off. Once again, part of the point of World Tour at this point is to drop hints of what's to come next. It's happened time and again, and I don't think that's stopping anytime soon. But that said, that is the World Tour update, my friend. So here's some of your fun references, moments, and potentially hints for the future. And come Mai, we're going to do this all over again. So I hope you had some fun with it, and that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.